In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to create conditional formatting, insert a table, add new columns, format the columns, and add new records. First, let's jump over to a new sheet. You can see that we already have our information populated in here. This might be something that an HR manager may already have located on an Excel table, but it's not very user-friendly. So let's do a few things to make it a little more user-friendly. We've got a first name here. This is their position. This column represents their pay. And this final column is the hours worked per week. So let's say this is hours per week. This makes a little bit more sense, but it's still not very visually appealing. So as you can see, our highlighted box down here is within our data. If I click out here and I click Insert Table, it's not going to know where I want the table. So we'll click Cancel. The key is to select anywhere within your data. Left click on Table. Our table already has the headers we created earlier, and you can see the green outline around our current data. Click OK. There's our table. I like to choose this table. It gives us nice white lines between the columns, as well as the color and white line between the rows. The next step is going to be to calculate their annual salary. So let's start by typing in annual salary. You can see that Excel automatically realizes that you tried to create another column in your table. We're going to double click up here to bring that size out there. Now, to calculate the annual salary, what we're going to do is be multiplying our pay times the number of hours per week, which is 40, times 52, because there are 52 weeks within a year. So we'll double click to show our cursor, press the equals key, and our first step is going to be to click on the pay. You can see that it adds in that row of the pay column. We're going to type the multiplication key and then select hours per week. Now we're going to hard code in a value here. 52 weeks is the number of weeks in a year. After we press enter, it should auto calculate for the whole column. If you wanted to turn that off, you see a little lightning bolt. You can select that and either stop creating calculated columns or just undo that. Sometimes it's not exactly what you're looking for. One more quick glance at this table and we notice that the pay and annual salary don't look like currency. So what we're going to do now, select the column, and then up on top you can select the dollar sign. If you can't find that there, you select the down arrow box and you can choose accounting or currency. Accounting's nice because it puts the dollar sign on the far left and it lines up all of your decimals. We're going to do the same thing over on the annual salary. And now your table is created that shows the annual salary based on the pay and the number of hours worked per week. Let's add in one more person. His name is going to be Joe. He is the lawn care manager. If you look at that row, you can see that lawn care manager is a little bit too big for that cell. So something that you can add in if you select multiple rows is the wrap text. That will bring it down to a second line. Very handy if you have a lot of text in there or you don't want a person to have to read a long distance from left to right. Their pay is going to be $7 an hour. However, they only work 20 hours per week. You can see that automatically calculates $7,280 per year. pretty low. We're going to jump into our conditional formatting now. And the first step is going to be to select all of the data within the table. You can also do that by hovering over the upper left corner and coming in at a diagonal until you see the diagonal arrow. Again, that selects your whole table. And one click may cover the whole table, another click will just do your data. We just want the data for the conditional formatting. Select conditional formatting, new rule. We want to use a formula to determine which cells to format. Select in our value. You can click this little button, it's handy, it brings it up so it's out of your way so you can put it anywhere you want. We're just going to look at row 5 and then column H. We want to just look at the salary. We want to know who's making over $50,000 per year. Now, if you pay special attention to the value that popped in when I clicked on the cell, it's got a $H, $5. That's an absolute cell value, which means that it's only going to look at that value, and if that one cell I clicked on is over $30,000, it's going to highlight everything green. That's not what we want. We want to only look at the row. So to tell it we're only looking at the row, $H is fine because we want the only column to be the H that it's looking at. But row 5, we don't care what row, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so on. Now that we have that, greater than 30,000. You want to just keep that a simple number format. Now you want to format your text and the fill. I like to choose green for money, for large amounts of money. You can also choose the color of your font. We're going to leave it automatic or the black. That's still visible within the light green. Press OK, click OK again, and you can see that it's automatically highlighted all of the cells for people that make over $30,000. Now let's say your human resources officer would like to also see who makes under the poverty mark. We're going to say that our poverty mark is $23,000. Right off the bat, you just looking at this table might notice that Joe makes under $23,000, but he only works 20 hours per week. We really would like to know who's working a full 40 hours per week and still earning under the poverty limit. We're hoping that Joe may have a secondary job, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're just looking at the full 40 hours. To do that, we again select all of our data. We're going to do some conditional formatting. New rule. The first rule that we're going to do, we want to rule out anybody who's not working the full 40 hours. So our use formula to determine which cells to format. Click in there. We're going to select G, G13. But again, we don't care what row it is. We just need it to be in column G. So we're going to get rid of that $. We want to find out who is less than 40 hours. And I'll show you why we're not doing any formatting here in a second. So we click OK. See, nothing changed. Okay, we're going to jump back up to conditional formatting. New rule again. Use formula. Select our box. Now we're going to choose the annual salary again. We're going to just select any one of them. You could select the $72,000 one. It doesn't matter. We're just telling it to look at that column. And actually it's looking at that column and that cell. But right here we tell it to look at exact column H, and then we don't care what row, as long as it's within the table. And we are looking for numbers under $23,000. And we're going to format those to a light pink or an orange, depending on how it comes out on your screen. The key is we want to draw attention to these. These people may be eligible for specific plans or special benefits from their place of employment. So we click OK. Click OK again. It may not show that they're highlighted at first. We'll take a look. Okay, it's got them highlighted. but a little snafu there. I inadvertently entered H3, which you can see ends up being up here, and so it didn't look at the correct values or numbers. So to look at our numbers and values, click Conditional Formatting. We can manage our rules, and you can see since my current selection is outside of the table, it shows nothing. Let's choose Table 2, which is the table we are working in right now. Now the order of these conditional formatting rules matters. So let's select our green value because we just want everybody over $3,000. Doesn't matter how many hours they work. If they make over $30,000, that's what we want to know. Select this arrow to move it all the way up to the top. The next value we can do, select the one where we look to see who is working under 40 hours. We're going to move that up one, and I'll show you why in a second. On the far right, you can choose to stop conditional formatting if that's true. And since we don't want any of the rows that are making under $23,000 but working less than 40 hours to show red, we're going to choose stop if true. Now you can see here that Joe's row highlighted red, orange, or pink based on the way we had the rule set up before. But now that we've told it to stop formatting if this is true, we can press apply. And you can see that Joe is now the normal blue color of the table. Select OK. And that's how you use conditional formatting. Please let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about conditional formatting. There's a lot of applications for this. Thank you.